Good Friday morning. Hey there. Thanks for dropping by this morning for this live Friday morning Q&A. So glad you're here. We do this every weekday morning, right around 8 o'clock, give or take a minute or two, Eastern time. And, we've got folks who check in from literally all over the world who are recording voiceovers or getting into voiceover or thinking about voiceover, and it's a chance to learn a little more. I like to start the day with some information that you might find helpful. And on Fridays specifically, we do the Good Morning, Bruce. I think Bruce is the first one in. I think you're the first one in just about every morning, and you always have that smiley icon or the emoji with the sunglasses. It starts my day off on the right foot, Bruce. Thank you. And so it's a chance on Fridays for you to ask the questions. And what's on your mind this morning, and we'll be glad to talk about it. So and as you check in this morning, make sure you go into the live stream chat. Let me know where you're listening from this morning, what's going on with you. I hope you've had a good week. Hope it's been a good one for you. I had started off a little slow for me, but these past few days have been very busy, which is good. I like busy. Busy's good. I remember early on in my voiceover career, I would, when I was doing a lot of e-learning, which I still do. But when I would get those really long scripts, I really hadn't built up the stamina yet. It's kind of like running, if you've ever been a runner. And I remember I would just be absolutely fried. I mean, just wiped out. My voice would be wiped out. And, having done it for a while now, it's like you build up those muscles, and I enjoy it. I mean, put me in a studio for hours and just give me 20, 30, 50 pages to read, 100 pages to read, and I'm just as happy as can be. All right, let's see here. Everybody's checking in now. All right, we've got Wisconsin, we've got Florida, we've got Melbourne, Australia. Good day to you. Yes, Orlando, which I'm thinking is not very cool about this time of year. Love the Orlando area. Big Disney fan. Yeah, Philadelphia. All right. So what's on your mind this morning? Okay, what's the most interesting project or projects you've done? Well, a couple of things. I think the project that I've been the most excited about was when I was hired by Chevrolet to be the global signature voice of the Find New Roads campaign. And what was interesting about it, one is that it was a global job. And you may recall, if you pay close attention to commercials, John Cusack was still is the signature voice of, at the end of every commercial, you'll hear Chevrolet Find New Roads. And John Cusack was the guy originally hired to do that. And he still does a lot of that, but within the United States. But they wanted to hire somebody who would do it. Chevrolet literally, they advertise globally. I mean, South America, Korea, Italy, Germany, all over. And so anything that was outside of the United States, that was me. I'm the guy, the Chevrolet Find New Roads guy. And that was exciting because it was just had such far reach, and it paid so very well. And what was the other thing that was really interesting about it was that I was contacted about it through an agency in Europe, and they wanted me to just read Chevrolet Find New Roads and sound as much like John Cusack as I could. So I did. It was me and I think 3 other people. And a little bit later, I got a call and said, hey, you got the job. And not only did you get the job, but we're using your audition. So it was a hefty payday, and I didn't even have to do a recording session for it. So that was cool. And I'll have to be honest, most of what I do is not what I would consider to be exciting. I mean, I'll sit and record safety training. And yesterday, I got paid $1,000 to record a new employee enrollment benefits thing for United Rentals. And, I guess it's not exciting, but I love it. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy it. I was once hired to be, and I've talked about this a few times, hired to be the voice of Lego City Policeman, the plush toy. So, and the kid pulls the string, it's a, hello, citizen, that kind of thing. And that was fun. Was able to do a sportscaster voice for oh shoot, what's that video game? At one point, it was like the number one video game in the world, and I did a commercial for it, and I can't. I'm blanking out on what the name of it was. Tells you, I guess, how much I know about video games. And I don't know. I mean, those are a few standouts, but it's most of the stuff is not nearly that exciting. It's fun. Again, I love it, but it's really cool when something really unusual like that comes along, and anyhow. So thanks for asking. Let's see here. Good morning from Louisiana. I realized at the end of recording 30,000 words, a lot of mispronunciations I need to redo. Suggestions? Well, I was in that situation yesterday, not 30,000 words, but I was doing, it was a pharmaceutical narration. And I got to the end of the script, which wasn't 30,000 words, but it was long enough, and realized that there was one particular medication that I'd mispronounced. And so I just went back through, I searched the word on the Word document so I could see all the instances where it came up. And then I just went through the recording and found those spots, and I re-recorded those lines and just pasted them in. I mean, there's not a easy way to do it. So I just do it systematically from beginning to end and just work my way through the script. So sorry about that. It's, we all do it, but it's not fun. I get that. Let's see here. I'll make sure I haven't skipped over anything. About to be stormy, South Florida. Oh, my goodness. I guess it doesn't always pour down sunshine in Florida, occasionally a little rain. Let's see here. Alberta, Brooklyn, Alabama. Awesome. Newcastle, UK. All right, Colin. Thanks for checking in. Okay, here we go. Mario says, I've been having such a hard time with auditions. I've had coaching for over a year, and they always say that I'm ready, but I can't land any roles. Do you have any advice? Well, Mario, first of all, how many auditions have you done? That would be my first question. I find that one of the biggest, I think, hurdles for people to overcome is that of expectations. So I'm curious to know how many auditions you've actually done and what your expectation is. How many of those auditions you expect to win. And are those auditions through talent agencies? Are they through pay-to-play sites? Or, what is the platform? If you're doing these strictly through agencies, that's good luck with that. That's just, I don't care how good you are. That is a battle for a couple of reasons. Because one, you're always competing against top-tier talent, presumably. And the other is, in my experience, oftentimes the same script will end up in a number of agencies' hands. So it's not just people in your agency, but I've had, at one point I was signed by about 14 different agents, and it would not be uncommon to get the same script from like 3 or 4 different agencies. So, the odds of winning those are it's like winning the lottery. So it doesn't necessarily mean there's a problem with you, Mario. It's just when it comes to the the auditioning game, it is you may have to do 100, 200, 300 auditions. I mean, I just don't know how many you've done, but setting expectations is a big part of this. Just as I found your Lego piece, it was funny. Where did you find my Lego piece? Did I put that on YouTube? Maybe I did. Joe says, I recorded for World of Warcraft last year. Oh, that's awesome. Good, Joe. Way to go. Bet that was fun. Let's see, Bill, you have a great channel. Always great advice. I'm Danny, new voiceover from the Netherlands. Hey, Danny. The land of my forefathers. Yes. Duis is Dutch. Any marketing books you recommend that applies for freelancing work? Oh, boy. Anything by Seth Godin, I highly recommend. I don't have one book in particular, but I really like his material. Would you advise a newbie in voiceover to go to acting or improv classes? Well, I'm sure it can't hurt. I have to be honest. I've never had an acting class. I've never had an improv class. So I can't speak from experience. So I'm not a trained actor. I've never studied it. Um, so I don't think you have to have it to do it. I mean, obviously, I've done it without it, but in terms of it being helpful, I would imagine it would be. And I would say, if you're thinking about it, try it out and see what happens. Bruce says, excuse me. I tend to self-edit myself constantly. How can I overcome this, trying to move forward and be such a perfectionist? Yeah, Bruce, I think just about everybody deals with that. The only way to overcome it, first of all, is just awareness. You know you're doing it, so just stop it. I mean, force yourself not to. It's interesting. Well, if you're having a conversation with somebody, you don't self-edit yourself constantly. But there's this idea, but it comes from the idea that you have to say everything perfectly, and you don't, because people don't hire you based on how good you sound. They base it on how much they believe you, how believable you are. And the more we tend to edit ourselves, self-edit, and try to be perfect, the less believable we become. So it's hard to let go of that. But when you start, and when I'm coaching, I'm focused on emotion, point of view, personality, not on enunciation and phrasing and pacing. I'm not saying those things are not important, but those are the trees. They're not the forest. You have to look at the forest. If you get the forest right, the trees tend to fall in place. So you just need to redirect your focus to the bigger picture, which is emotion, and how can you make the script personal. What happened? Where'd it go? Okay. I have two mics, a Rode NT1A, it's a large diaphragm condenser, and the mic that comes with the Focusrite combo pack. They both sound the same to me. All right, well, there you go. I guess simple enough. Just use the one that you like the most. I mean, both will serve you well. Good deal. And, I like to have redundancies of everything. So like my Neumann, I have two of those. I don't have two Sennheisers because, frankly, I mean, if something happens to this, I can swap it out and just use the Neumann. It's not a big deal. But having a backup microphone is a good idea in case one goes bad. Especially when you start to make money consistently and you're depending on it, you want to have redundancies and backups of everything. So that's a good thing. Sri Lanka, Chris, hey, good morning to you. How are you? Chris, do you work in radio? I see it says Chris Radio. Do you work in radio in Sri Lanka? You're welcome, Bruce. Jonathan, good morning, sir. Jonathan is in my VoiceOver Blueprint program, which I talk about on occasion. I think yesterday I talked about it at great length, so I won't get into it in depth today. But if you're interested in finding out more about my comprehensive coaching program, go to BillDeweeseLive.com. Are you on Voquent? I get their emails, but I don't think it's funny. Over the years, I've signed up. I'm on tons of sites, most of which I don't get anything from. I don't get work from them. I know that. Can you discuss hey, JJ, can I discuss how to read more natural versus reedy? Yeah, it goes back to really what I was talking about earlier, I think when I was talking or answering Bruce's question, and that is it's where your focus is at. When you sound reedy, you're focusing on words and sound. You're just looking at the words. You're looking at the trees. You're trying to navigate a forest by just looking at the trees. And so you're trying to say it right, and you're focused on how you sound. If you don't want to sound reedy, you have to think about how do you sound when you're actually having a conversation with somebody? What's the thought process? You're not thinking about how you sound or how you say stuff. You're thinking about the subject matter and what you're trying to accomplish and how you feel about that. And when you shift, and I'm not saying that's easy. It's not. It's something that requires that coaching can help, but then it just takes a lot of practice and repetition. But if you change your focus, you will change the read. So go from focusing on words and sound to meaning, intent, and feeling. And that will take you from sounding reedy to being natural and ultimately believable, which is our job as voiceover talent. If you want to work, you've got to be believable. And that's not, people don't believe you because you enunciate perfectly or because you sound good. They believe you because something you say resonates with them. They sense that you're being sincere. Good morning, Amanda in Alabama. Orlando in the house. Matt, what's up? Jonathan says the blueprint is worth its weight in gold. Very happy student. Thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate that unsolicited remark. And Jonathan has like probably the coolest voiceover studio in all of voiceover. I mean, I feel like I'm working out of a shed compared to the pictures I've seen of Jonathan's booth. Just amazing. And I hear that it sounds as good as it looks. So congrats, Jonathan. That's awesome. Let's see here. With the downturn of the economy, would selling other services like explainer videos, the whole service let's see, wait a minute. I think we left out a few words here. With the downturn of the economy, would selling other services like explainer videos, the whole animation. Yeah, I think the point you're getting at, I think, and I apologize if I'm misunderstanding, and that is the economy has affected everybody. In other words, the people that hire us, people who like video producers, people who create explainer videos and content, they're not getting as much work either. Some of those folks, probably a lot of those folks have gone out of business. I would say the vast majority of content producers, video production companies, they're not big. You know, they're small operations with one person, 2 people, 3 people, maybe 5 people. There are some that are, obviously there's some that are larger. But those smaller ones, many of them just living on the razor's edge, and something like a blip in the economy, and you're out of business. So yeah, it's affected everybody, no doubt. It's the whole supply chain, and voiceover is the same. I have a microphone, but no audio interface. I record by connecting the mic using XLR to 3.55 millimeter. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. If you want to get the best quality audio you can, and you do, that's important. You want to make sure that XLR is going into a legit audio interface. You can get something like, for instance, a Focusrite Scarlett. Get the Solo. It's relatively inexpensive, and it's going to give you better audio. Jonathan says he's got his first directed session coming up today. All right, Jonathan. It's for a fairly easy 30-second radio spot, but having pre-session jitters, how to relax. Jonathan, here's the thing. You won't be able to relax. I mean, I think you accept it, because that's just, I remember, I'll never forget my first session. I was absolutely terrified. And I'm sure I was dripping sweat when I was actually in their studio. This was, way back a few years ago. But here's the biggest lesson I learned was this. I had an expectation that I needed to be perfect when I went in there. I felt like I needed to nail it. And I'll never forget, I read through it, and then they had me read it again. And then they had me read it again. And then they had me go back and tweak this line, and this line, and this line, and this line. And I read it again and again and again and again and again. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm awful. This is terrible. And that wasn't the case at all. It's just, that's the way recording sessions go. It's rare. I mean, I've done hundreds of these, and there's only maybe 1 or 2 times when I read it once or twice and they go, great, thanks. I remember, I think the fastest session I ever had was less than a minute long. It was for LG Electronics, and it was some in-store, I used to do their in-store stuff for like Walmart. And they had a script, and I read it, and they go, that's great, thank you. It's like, what? Nobody does that. So, you really, I mean, you can't relax. Breathe deep, certainly. I mean, that's what I do. I breathe deep, and I force myself to slow down, because your insides are going to be going crazy. But here's the thing. Keep this in mind, Jonathan. They hired you because they like you. You have nothing to prove. They hired you because they like your audition, your demo, whatever they heard from you, they like you. And so you're not starting from a dead start, having to prove anything. You've already proved it. Now it's just a matter of giving them what they want. And it's a process. That's a process. And they'll tell you what they want. And just relax and be confident that you've got the wherewithal to do it, because you do, or you wouldn't have been hired in the first place. And my experience, and like I said, I've done hundreds of these. and that is that clients are great. I mean, geez, clients. I mean, seriously, clients are great to work with. Clients, they love voiceover talent, and the people they pick, they love them, and they tend to treat them very well. And their job is to help make you successful so they can be successful. So they're not going to hang you out to dry, and they're going to walk you through this. And, just fake it till you make it. You're a professional voiceover talent. They don't know whether you've done one commercial or whether you've done 10,000 commercials. And so just act like you've done this forever. Just have that kind of attitude in that it's just another day at the office for you, and enjoy it. I mean, enjoy it, because when it's all done, you'll look back and think, man, that was so much better than I ever thought it would be. Okay, let's see, guys. I think that's about all the time we have for this morning, and I appreciate there's so many comments here this morning. And I do this every Friday, so and I go back and I reference some of the material. And when I say material, the questions, so that I can, use it in other videos. Like I say, I do this pretty much every weekday morning. So thanks for being here. Thanks for the questions. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great weekend, and I look